It will happen. It happened to my son at his college game this past weekend. It happened. So just empowering them to not shrink back, to have the true definition of who they are, and that they can still walk in confidence and walk in their abilities to, not be afraid of being who they are, to continue to excel, to be a leader, to call out these injustices when they do see them, and being able to have a voice on their own. Like, don't call me out of my name. That's not who I am. I don't receive that. I don't identify as that. And these are the things that my husband and I have been teaching our children, from a long time ago, when this happened to my son initially, for the first time when he was in 9th grade at a private school in Pine Bush, which is also in Orange County. So this is something that we have been combating for several years, just trying to empower our children.
So many times, you speak about it because we've been very vocal about it since it's happened. So many people have said, this isn't a new issue. This has been going on since I played football in the 90s. Why is that okay? And it's
right.
I
and
feel
they're still
like
okay with it.
Why is that okay?
Why is that okay? We didn't have any of that. We played Middletown this past weekend. We didn't have any of that.
No.
But I think because Middletown is associated with us in the same negative way.
Right.
So we went, and our boys didn't win. But we went to the other boys and we said, good game, guys. Good luck next week. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be so crazy. These are children playing a game that they enjoy playing. They don't, I don't know. I've never raised my kids to look at anybody else because of the color of their skin. They play. Where I live, every child in the neighborhood, from every ethnic background, religion, they're all outside and they play together with no craziness. Occasional playground tiff, but
right. Boys will be boys.
Exactly. But
boys will be boys.
So for them to have to hear that, it's as a parent, it's definitely.
So as we wind up, I want to give you guys just a moment each. To give us some final thoughts on, if I had to actually pose a question, what would you want parents to know and to be able to share with their children about this topic? And I'll give you both a minute to just because I think that's important, because we're talking to parents. And as we know, you're not the first parents. So give some insight, some thoughts, some advice. What would you say to a parent who walked up and said, I've experienced this too?
I would tell them basically to do the same thing that we do. It's speak up about it. Don't just say, oh, it's been going on for years, so that's how it is. It shouldn't be how it is. And just because something has gone on for so long doesn't make it right.
Absolutely.
Speak up, educate yourselves, educate your children, build their self-esteem up so high that somebody saying that is just, it doesn't knock them down or make them think of themselves in any kind of negative way. Because it's happened for so long, I feel like maybe some people, maybe not in the front of their mind they're thinking about it, but that sits in the back. And you look at yourself and you say, if I've been called the name so many times, am I that kind of person? Am I worthless? Am I, not good enough? And these are the things that, as parents, you have to teach your children to not speak like that, to not fuel anything further. And as adults, it's harder to get us to wrap our brain around, difference of opinions. You have to really be open to say somebody else's experience and sympathize and empathize and, have compassion towards other people. But the children, they're so open to that. They're so open to, they're taught these things. They're an open book, and if we teach them, everybody's different, but we're all the same at the same time, to embrace their own, religions and customs and traditions and things like that, but to also respect others and say, you know, this is cool. Can you show me that? Growing up, I had friends in all different ethnic backgrounds, all different religions. And I used to love going to a friend's house, to her grandmother's house for Rosh Hashanah. I'm not Jewish, but it was great. My other friend, she's Persian. I used to go over there and have amazing dishes, and they would teach me different things. And, you know, there's so many different things out there for these kids to learn, not to focus on this, but to teach them we're all different, but we're all the same.
We're all the same. Okay. It sounds great. I mean, I agree 100%. Absolutely. Differences are wonderful.
I just think that hatred, I think the hatred that my son saw that day affected him so deeply. The hatred that he saw, I don't think he's ever witnessed hatred like that before. And I think that was what kept him up at night. So when you are being taught to hate other people because of the color of their skin or where they're from, I think that's a sickness. I think that's an illness. I think that's a mental illness, because you're not taking the time to get to know that individual. You don't know what it's like to be that individual, to walk in their shoes, to live a day in their shoes. And when you're being taught just to hate someone because of the color of their skin or where they're from, that is true ignorance at its finest. You sincerely have to look past a person's color to see who they truly are on the inside. And we are shaping our kids, and we live in a world that seems so cold, so dark, and we can choose to be a part of that darkness, or we could choose to be a part of light and bringing love and unity in different situations and scenarios. And I don't want my son's spirit to be broken. I don't want the kids on the Newburgh Steelers' spirit to be broken because of negative words from other people. It's not who they are. It's not a representation of who they are. And just because their parents may not live in a glamorous suburban home, it doesn't mean that they're less of a person.
Well, less good person. They're good people too.
They are. And that's what I want people to be viewed as. There's a lot of good things happening in Newburgh, and look past what the media or the fake news. Really just get to know someone. And if those parents who April overheard have the audacity to say that in a public forum, in earshot of people, like, what is being said behind closed doors?
What are their children being taught?
What is being said behind closed doors?
At the end of the day, these are just children. They're not Newburgh's children. They're not Cornwall's children. They're not Middletown's. They're not what? They're children. Period. Their geographic location should not determine their worth. And that's the bottom line.